Good evening, Drew.
Man, Vampire Survivors is just so good.
It's good. It's
It's really
good.
good. I finally I finally made it so that I could survive the full 30 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know like how much of that game you've unlocked at this point, but
Quite a bit, I think. Yeah.
yeah. Playing it on
Yeah.
the phone, it's way easier to play it on the computer than on the phone.
Yeah. I pretty much exclusively play it on the Xbox now,
Oh, Xbox is still plugged in, huh?
just for Vampire Survivors. Yeah. That's the
Is
only.
it?
That's the only
It's
reason.
not on PlayStation at all yet, huh?
It's not. No. No.
Weird.
No.
It's literally all like on every other platform. Is
Uh-huh.
it on Switch? I think it's on Switch too. Is it? I don't know.
I
That's a
don't
good
know.
question.
I don't know if it's on Switch or not. I don't know, but yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah.
It's just little bite-sized gaming, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite character?
Oh, geez. I don't remember any of the characters' names.
Well, just describe them.
Geez, I mean, I kind of go back and forth on a lot of them. Uh, I like what is it? Croce. He has the cross. Starts with the cross. The red guy with the black wings.
I don't think I have him yet.
Okay.
I just unlocked the Skeleman.
Oh, with the bone. Yeah.
I just unlocked a Skeleman.
Okay.
He's good. I go back. I like using the lady that starts with the holy water. I have
Oh yeah, that's the nun, like the nun lady.
Yeah.
Have you unlocked like the shark looking dude that throws like the wagon wheel? Or the cherry bomb. The cherry bomb. There's another person who throws a wagon wheel. That's a different person.
Oh shit.
Apparently there's a dog. I'm looking at the wiki right now that you can play it.
No.
And I gotta figure this.
I gotta figure that
I gotta
out.
figure
Just spoil it for me. How do you get him?
You have to kill 3,000 dragon shrimps.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good game. You know what's a really frustrating game?
What's that?
Elden Ring.
How's that going, Drew?
Man,
Poorly?
Okay, look. I know last episode I talked about it and I was, willing to give it a shot, but I hit a point of that game earlier this week where it was very close to being uninstalled.
Oh shit.
I have since calmed down a little bit.
Okay.
And continuing to explore the game and try to learn its systems. It just feels really bad to play that game for 45 minutes to 60 minutes and just not get anywhere. Like, I beat the quote unquote first boss.
Okay.
And that opened up a new castle area. And man, I got to tell you, that game just drips aesthetic. And I'm totally there for it. Like, I love the way it looks and I love the art direction and the detail and the graphics. Like, it's good, right? It's legit good. But I'm in this area and there's just these enemies and I get it, right? You can't just run in there and just beat on something. Like, you're gonna get counter attacked and shit's gonna hurt you. And I got to this one point where I just had to fight this knight, and he has a guy with him. So you can't sneak attack both of them because there's a mechanic where you can like get a backstab and do like massive damage, right? And I can't, if I attack one, the other's gonna hit me. So the play, at least I think, is to take out the easier one and then kind of rope-a-dope the bigger guy and attack him, right? He's this knight and he has like a pole arm that just has this incredible reach. He's incredibly hard to dodge his attacks. And I think I flung myself at this guy probably 12 times. Like, it was like, die and go back to the place that I was. And I got to fight all the way back to where he is. And he's not even a boss. He's just a dude patrolling this area. And I just was like, man, fuck this. So I just ran past him and I jumped over a wall where he couldn't get me. And I continued down this path and like I was fighting stuff and winning and taking damage, but winning. And then I got to this one part where there's like this giant cat dog looking thing that just started attacking me and just didn't stop. And I'm like, how are you even supposed to get a hit in? And at that point, I just Alt F4'd. Like, I didn't even quit the game like normally. I literally Alt F4'd out. Yeah, I was like, I'm done. Right? I was just done. But, I gave it a couple days and I was playing it again, and I sort of left that area thinking like, well, maybe I need to go somewhere else and explore, level up or something. So I went back to kind of like the place where I started and did some other stuff, and I wound up in this one place where I at first I thought I was completely fucked because I jumped down this mine shaft and there wasn't a way to get back up, and I guess I got to fight my way out. I wonder how that's going to go. And fortunately there was like a checkpoint down there and I
Mhm.
was able to fight some guys, and once I sort of learned what was going on, and like the game has the game has me trained, right? Because I,
Mhm.
I fought my way through this mine shaft and I got to an end where there were two doors. And I was like, uh oh, I'm going to choose one of these doors and one of them's going to be the wrong door. So I opened this door and there's like this giant cooking pot with legs. And I'm not making this up. He's just standing there. And I'm like, that guy's going to fuck me up. And I turned around, right? There's got to be another way out of this place. So I went around and I fought some stuff, died again, but resurrected. And like, I was fortunate because where I was dying, it was very easy to get back to my body, and I had to collect more like experience on the way. So I managed to level up a few times in the process. But eventually, like, I was like, well, I'll go back to that guy and I'll see if I can like sneak around him or if I have to fight him. And it turns out he's actually a friendly guy.
Oh.
So, but the game just has me nervous, right? Like not to trust anything.
Okay.
He was a friendly pot that I could talk to. So I
Mm.
was like, I wonder what's behind the other door. It was a dragon and it killed me. But then I found the way out.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I want to hate it and I also want to love it. And I can't say that either of those things are true right now. I
Uh,
don't know how people do it. I legit don't know how people do this.
it just I listen to people talk about this game and like nothing about it sounds fun to me. Nothing. Sounds awful. Sounds awful.
I mean, I
Oh.
have some cool weapons, and I'm learning some stuff about the game, and like I'm intentionally leveling up my character because I have a better understanding of kind of how the systems are starting to work. Man, it's tough. It's tough.
Ugh.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, I wrote the in the show notes it just says fuck Elden Ring, but it was like
I saw that and I
in
chuckled.
the
Yeah.
yeah. And I have since calmed down a little bit, but I'm sure that once I play it again this weekend, I'll probably hate it again.
Oh, you have to let us know next week how you're feeling.
Yeah, if I uninstalled it
Yeah,
or not.
exactly. Let us know when you uninstall it. Oh.
Sort of keeping the gaming
Mhm.
thing going here. A while back you had mentioned the DualSense Edge, and I guess
Yes.
it's out now.
I got mine today and I've spent a few hours with it
All right.
playing some video games. It's great. It's but here so just before we get into it, Drew, I own 5 PlayStation 5 controllers now. 5.
And how many people in your house actually play PlayStation?
Me.
Okay.
I came about them, I think, honestly. Like I got the one that came in the box. I ordered another one for some reason when I ordered it. And then they came up with colors, so I got a red one and I got a purple one because the purple one matches my purple PlayStation because my
I remember
PlayStation is
that.
purple. And then this one came out, so now I have 5. I have 5. It's I mean, it's exactly what PlayStation advertises to be. Obviously, it's got replaceable thumbsticks, so I put on like the low domes because I like those. I like that all around grippiness. I tried both the different back buttons. So it's got replaceable back buttons. You can take them off completely. It's got like little magnety holes. You put them in there, and bam, you got buttons. I'm currently using the half domes, and I think I really like those a lot. Uh, yeah, it's good. Like it's got all the features. You can make any button do anything you want. You can remap everything. I like the dark buttons on the light face. I think it looks really good. It is heavier. It's heavier. It is heavier. They say like the battery life is like an hour less, but like I'm an adult with like children and a job. I'm never in a place where I'm running out of controller battery. That's just not something I do anymore. So I really don't care about that. It is heavier, so like I do notice that like my hands are a little fatigued.
Mhm.
Like just like ooh, it's not unpleasant to hold because like it's designed well and it's balanced and it's ergonomic and you can hold it, but like it is just it's a little heavier, but it's good. It's good so far. So far, so good. I mean, I haven't really put it through its places. That I've just been playing Cult of the Lamb, uh, so that there's not not a lot of tense. But it's nice to be able to map the dodge button to one of the back buttons and not have to move my thumb to dodge. So, uh, you know, it's good.
So
It's good.
so a couple things,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Xbox did this with the Elite and the
Mm-hmm.
Pro Elite controllers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm familiar with the concept. It's a more expensive controller with some more bells and whistles.
Yep.
Though a couple things though. I mean, we talked about this when this first came up, and it's $199.
It is. It is. It is.
Now, that's more than the Xbox equivalent, but then again, like this has the battery and the what is it called? Pro Sense, Pro Motion, like what's it called?
That it's DualSense. It's
DualSense.
got the haptic triggers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, that's one thing that it has that
Mhm.
I know that the other one hasn't.
Mhm. Yeah.
I also like that it comes with the cool little carrying case. That's a
Yeah.
nice touch.
The case is really nice. Like it ships in there. It's like you open up the box and everything is in the case. It's literally got spots for everything. So you can put the thumbsticks back in there. The case even has a spot for the thumbsticks, the
There you
thumbsticks,
go.
the thumbsticks. You can buy replacements. So like, if you're in a hardcore, I don't know, Street Fighter tournament and your stick starts drifting, of course you're not, if you're in Street Fighter, you're using
You're using an arcade stick.
yes, right. But it's got a spot in the case to put another a thumbstick. So if you need to replace it on the fly, you can. Yeah, the case is real nice. It comes with a nice long braided cable.
Yep.
If you're interested in playing it, if you're a pro gamer and you want to play it wired, because that 5 seconds of lag or 5 milliseconds of lag is too much. It actually the cable, it's got a little locking mechanism, so it locks the cable into the controller so it won't come out.
Right.
Which I think has a nice little touch. Yeah, it's nice. I mean, granted, it's $199. It's expensive, but I'm really happy with it. It's a nice controller. It's really good.
You said something else that's a little wild to me, right?
Mhm.
Well, yeah. So the Xbox controller case, because I have two of those controllers. They're very similar, right? Like they've got the space in there to store the bits you're not using and everything.
Mhm.
But you said something that was kind of wild to me, right? So I'm looking at the feature page of this,
Mhm.
and it touts the features of you being able to map the back buttons, which makes sense because
Mhm.
those are buttons that your other controller doesn't have.
Yeah.
But you're telling me that you can't remap the controls of a regular PlayStation controller?
No.
Really?
No. Nope.
So, okay, understand. When you say remap to me, what
Mhm.
I'm hearing is like on this controller, there are face buttons, right?
Mhm.
There's square, triangle, circle, and
Mhm.
X. Can I change the position of circle and X?
In software, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I can't physically move the buttons.
No, you can't physically move the buttons. No.
And you can't do that for a regular controller.
You cannot. At least not that I'm aware of.
Wow, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
And there's stick modules, I guess.
Yeah, so if you're looking at it, there's that where the thumbsticks are, there's like that black piece of plastic.
Right.
You can pop that off, and then for each thumbstick there's a little like button you push, and then the whole mechanism slides out. And Sony is selling replacements, and they're gonna at some point they said they're gonna sell there's a fancier thumbstick technology called, what is it, I think it starts with a B, Hall, it's like Hall effect or something.
Oh, Hall effect switches. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're gonna make some of those that you can buy and replace them. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
That see, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hmm.
It's just wild to me that if you truly want true button mapping capability, you got to spend $200. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that feels like the ultimate crummy DLC. like like
Of course, like I'm never going to do that. Like I'm always going to leave like the face buttons and the triggers to be what they are. But it's nice to have be able to change what the back buttons do, and like it's really easy. You can set up multiple profiles. So like if you see like those two little black switches that are kind of like underneath the thumbstick, kind of facing you.
yeah, it says FN on it.
Yeah, so if you push those, you if you push those, the face buttons allow you to change profiles. So like if you wanted to change, you can change everything from like thumbstick dead zones, your button mappings and everything. So you can quickly change back and forth between those. And you also can use the D-pad to control game volume and like in-game chat volume. So you
Interesting.
Can
Oh, I like that.
yeah, and you cannot remap the function buttons. Those are always the function buttons.
Those are always fun. Okay, I can't remap those.
No.
Now, do you like the triggers on the back, like underneath?
Again, I haven't used either one of them very much. I've tried the the lever style and the half dome style, and I'm currently using the half dome style. I think I like that better, simply because on like the triggers or levers, my hands rest on them, and to me that just feels like I'm gonna accidentally push something. Where with the half domes, I have to be a little bit more deliberate when I push them. So like, my hands aren't resting on them; they're resting kind of laying against them. So I think I'm gonna like those ones better. They're ugly. Ooh, they're ugly. Woo.
So on my controllers, I just removed all of those.
Mm-hmm.
I found myself like accidentally hitting them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I would do that more with the lever, the trigger styles, but I don't think that's going to happen with me with the half domes. So
the Xbox One came with two styles, like a longer lever and a shorter lever, and I just felt like I was always sort of hitting them.
yeah.
And on the Xbox One, and I don't know if it works this way for the PlayStation One, those lever switches are just an extension of an existing button. It is not an additional button. So in other words, like you can basically set that to be one of the other buttons.
That's exactly how it works. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's not like it's an additional button that you can map.
Yeah, you map it to whatever button you want. So I mean the typical thing is like, hey, you map it to one of the the circle, triangle, square, cross buttons. So when your thumb is on the right thumbstick, you don't have to move it to push an important button. So
now you said you've used that in
I played Call of the Lamb. I haven't done anything else yet, so that'll be this weekend, I think.
What else are you playing right now on your PlayStation?
Nothing really. Nothing. I picked back up Call of the Lamb because I just I just wanted to give that game a good solid go again because I enjoyed it so much the first time.
I really need to play it. I haven't played it yet.
It's good. It's good. Though I guess like if you wait like 2 months, they're coming out like a big patch. It's going to add some additional features to it. So It may be worth just kind of waiting for that to happen. But it's good. My cult is currently it's way too big. I can't deal with it. It's too big. I need to sacrifice some of those fuckers.
All right.
Yeah. So I may break out like God of War, Ragnarok, and just go through some combat stuff just to get a feel for how the back buttons and stuff feel with that. But yeah, we'll figure it out. I don't know. I'm kind of in between games right now. I mean, I got the PSVR coming next month. So I don't know. I guess I'm just playing Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, I haven't been able to play a lot of games this week either. But the time I have spent, like there have been times where at lunch I just power up Vampire Survivors and play a 30-minute round and then it's back to work, right? And
Yeah.
I've been trying to go to bed earlier and stuff. And
Yeah.
there's a group of guys that I play Destiny with, and we did some of the Grandmaster stuff, but they're all on the West Coast, so like They can sign on at 8 o'clock their time, which is like bedtime for me.
That's awful. Yeah.
And yeah,
Time.
and I'm old. I need to go to bed so my body can recover.
I feel you, buddy. I feel you.
Okay. Let's stop talking about games for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You put a link in here and I haven't clicked on it yet.
Okay.
What am I about to click on?
This is Ivory by Tapbots.
Okay.
So
Ivory by Tapbots.
So
I see an elephant.
Mm-hmm. So Tapbots, if you were talking high-end third-party Twitter clients on the Apple platform, there were basically two applications you went to. There was Twitterrific by Icon Factory, and there was Tweetbot by Tapbots. When Twitter started going to shit, the Tapbots is literally, it's like two guys. They're like, hey, if you really think about it, a lot of like the UI and stuff that we did for our Twitter client, we could just replace the backend with Mastodon and come out with the Mastodon app. And then when Space Karen, I guess, shut down all that shit, they really put an effort into it, and it's not complete yet. They're still calling it early access, but Ivory is their iOS Mastodon client, and it's really good. Like, having kind of just like fumbled with other Mastodon clients and the website, everything was just real clunky. This behaves exactly how I expect it to behave. It's designed really well. It's good looking. It's fast. Like, this may be the thing that really gets me to stick with Mastodon. So
how much does it cost?
I think it's
free with quote unquote in-app purchases, which is going to unlock other features.
Yeah.
Since there's not a lot of features in this thing, what are you paying for?
I think the subscription. Okay, here it is. So you can get a yearly subscription for $15 a year. You can pay them $25 a year for Premiere, and they say that's going to give you some additional features. If it's like Tweetbot, it's probably going to give you some additional themes and some additional like icons you can pick from. But $15 a year is for, you get all the functionality, all the Mastodon-y goodness. And there's a lot of people like, I don't know, there's a lot of people that are like, Mastodon's open source, so you shouldn't use a paid client. I'm like, fuck you, your clients are ugly. Like, make them look better.
Now I'm looking at the page and there's a link for Ivory Mac.
I don't think is it out now? Is it out now?
I'm clicking on it, it just takes me to a white page.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think they have the Mac client out yet. Oh yeah. It definitely does. There's nothing there. That is a very empty HTML. There's nothing there.
It certainly
Yeah.
is.
They say they're going to come out with the Mac client, but it's not out yet. You can run it on iOS and iPad right now. And like it syncs your position. So like as you're scrolling through your timeline, you can keep your place between devices. I know it's. If you were on the fence, like you thought the idea of Mastodon was good, but you wanted something that, was actually easy to use and nice to use as far as your client, like give Ivory a try. Like you can do a monthly subscription for $2 a month. You get like a week-long trial. And plus, like, I just feel good. Like, I feel bad for all these, like, Twitter just like shit on these small businesses that, like just completely.
It's so sad.
Yeah. And from what I understand, these Tapbot guys, like Tweetbot was their primary source of income. Like that's how they ate. And then suddenly one day it's gone with no warning or explanation. So I felt like, hey, you know what? Even if I just give these guys $15 for a year and I don't use the app, that's just my way of saying, sorry about your luck, guys. Have a couple of Starbucks on me.
Wow.
but it's good. It's a really good app. It's really
I
good.
still haven't set up anything on Mastodon yet.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sort of just passively checking Twitter every couple days.
Dude, I've signed out everywhere. I've uninstalled all of my clients. I'm done. Every once in a while, like I'll click on I'll see like a Twitter link in Reddit, and I'll click on it and I'll go, and it's like, oh yeah, that's what the Twitter website looks like. Wow, that's something else.
Yeah, I constantly have to click off of the For You, because the For You makes me a bunch of recommendation.
Oh, that's just not good.
Oh, so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Oh yeah. I'm not even signed in anymore. Yeah, I just double checked. I'm signed out on the website. Like it's all Mastodon, baby. I mean, I haven't really fully committed to Mastodon, but
I was gonna say, like, are you posting things there? Like, can people find us over there or find you over there?
No, I mean, at Paul Baylor at Metal. What's my
Exactly.
Yeah, at Metalhead, Paul Baylor at metalhead.club. I haven't posted anything. I have boosted some stuff. I am following more. Boosted is their version of like retweets. I'm following more accounts. So I am like checking it like once a day just to kind of scroll through my news feed, and it's manageable now because like I'm not following like hundreds of people like I was on Twitter.
Sure.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Maybe this, I really like what I'm looking at on this website. Like, maybe later tonight or tomorrow I'll actually find a server to join and give this a shot. I mean, I know it's missing features and everything, but is it like kind of usable or?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And like if you look at their roadmap, like you can see what doesn't work. Like you can't edit posts, and you can't edit your profile yet, and you can't search by a hashtag and things like that. But as far as like finding something, like logging in, looking at your feed, even switching from Mastodon has this notion of like, so obviously you have like your main feed, which is people that you follow. Then you have like a local feed, which are like, I guess, popular toots on your server. And then there's a federated feed, which is like popular stuff across the Fediverse. And you can switch. You can switch between those three, things relatively easily. It's like your basic stuff, like like posting and reading and starring and replying and that kind of stuff. That stuff all works. So.
Okay. Yeah, you convinced me. I think I'll actually put like actual effort into this weekend, and I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. You got.
I don't know if I'll give these guys any money yet, but
I mean, give it a try. I'll give it. There's what is it? Is it Ice Pick Mastodon or is it Ice Cube? There's an open source one that people are also really raving about. Ice Cube for Mastodon.
Ice
Cubes. Apparently this one is free. Apparently it's like completely open source. A lot of people are saying that one's really good too. So that may be something to check out. Check out Ice Cubes for Zero Web. Here's the GitHub repo.
Oh no. You mean I have to sideload this app?
No. You can get it on the App Store. Here, I'll send you the App Store link instead.
I just want to find a screenshot. Ice Cubes.
This is the Mac version. I guess that will work. That'll work.
Ice Cubes for Mastodon, 17 plus. A Swift UI Mastodon client.
There you go.
GitHub.
You found it.
Okay.
You found it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's an app, all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an open. It's it's not going to be as polished as Ivory, but a lot of people are saying it's, as far as like the free open source, clients out there, Ice Cubes is the best. So I may also download that just to give it a try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's add that to the list. Okay. Ice Cubes. I'm gonna go ahead and put that.
Ice Cubes and
Ice Cubes.
And if you
Ice Cubes app.
And if you want to see how they build it, it's open source. There you go.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Speaking of building things, I wrote some Java today, Paul.
Ooh, how'd that go?
Oh boy, am I rusty. I haven't written Java in, how old am I? 43, probably close to 20 years. And it's a
Wow.
fascinating story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, back when you had to write some Java, you fired up some sort of IDE and you started slapping some stuff together, and you had to get all your jars and your class path and everything. And like,
Gross.
yeah, but so let me back up.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason I'm writing Java is, and again, this is going to get like super nerdy and technical, but it actually has some pretty big implications here. Is one of the challenges that I frequently run across in my job is when I work with certain clients and customers, they have requirements around encrypting data.
Okay.
It's not enough sometimes to basically say, we're going to copy data to our data lake, and we're going to make sure that we have all the access control lists and RBAC and all the things that are meant to keep people out of it. But when you're working with a data lake concept, really all it is just files on files on files sitting in some storage location, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you need a way to get to those files network wise. You need a way to authenticate to those files, and you also need some sort of engine that is capable of reading those files, right?
Right. Yeah.
But still, on disk, they're not necessarily your options for actually encrypting or obfuscating that data are not necessarily readily apparent. Whereas if you're using like a relational database system, or you're using some other database system, that system that stores your data and is responsible for pulling it off of disk and presenting it to you in the form of a query or whatever, that probably has something in there, whether it is the ability to salt and hash a password column, for instance, or provide row level encryption that if you're not using the right certificate, like you can't query the data, or column masking, where like you can set up a mask for the data, and you can have it only show like the last 3 digits of like a SOSH or something like that, right? Well, when it comes to like just fundamentally storing formats like Parquet or Delta or other file formats in storage, you really don't have a lot of options for that. You sort of like left to your own devices about putting something in between. And there's third-party solutions and companies you can pay for services that do all this. But when it comes right down to it, traditionally this has been handled like at a scalar function level, where if you're the person writing the data out to disk, there's probably a function that you call in the process of you writing the data out that runs your columns or your rows through some sort of function that encrypts your data. And then when you go to, when the data is persisted on disk, you're still able to read it, but unless you have the encryption key, an algorithm or software that was used to do that scalar encryption, you're not going to be able to pull it out, right?
Right.
And there's all sorts of other challenges with encrypted data, like is it one-way encryption, or is it deterministic or non-deterministic? Can I join to it on another file that was also encrypted? Like, is it a column that is joinable for something that's like a unique customer ID or something? So there's all sorts of challenges to solve, right?
Right. Yeah.
And of course, people want it to be fast, right? We don't want people to waste CPU cycles on encryption and decryption, even though that is typically a CPU bound.
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah.
Well, again, I was working with a customer on this particular challenge, and what I discovered sort of in my research is Parquet, the file format, and I'll drop a link in the show notes, but Parquet format is an open source file format.
Okay.
And it has been extended in several different directions. One of the more popular directions it's been extended is Delta, right? Databricks pioneered the Delta format. They eventually open sourced it, and that basically lets you do transactions on the files instead of it just being like immutable.
Okay. Oh.
But in the spec, they wrote the ability to what they call Parquet modular encryption. And what it is it's designed for you to be able to provide a key for cryptographic operations. And when you're writing the data out, you can say, I want to encrypt this, column X with key A, and column Y with key B or whatever. And when the data gets written out, and I don't want to go like super nerdy on this stuff because one, it's super technical and nerdy, and two, I'm not sure I completely 100% understand the cryptographic operations in play here. But essentially what it does is it takes the key and it uses it to encrypt the data, and it also wraps the key and stores it with the file. So now the file is still portable. I can move that file to another system. I can move it wherever I want. And if I have the key that was used to encrypt it, I'm able to read it back out. Okay.
Okay.
Now, all the Hello World examples that exist for this on the internet today use basically like a Hello World in-memory key management system.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not how you would do it in
No, that's not how the world works.
That's not how the world works.
No, you got to put that key somewhere safe.
Right. And the idea is they want you to use a key management system or KMS, right?
Yeah.
And there is a like workable example that exists that if you're using something like HashiCorp, because they have like a vault system you can So they have like a sample that you can use that. Well, the company I work for isn't HashiCorp, right? Like the company I work for has their own products. So when the person I was working with, we were going over the encryption options, they really were like attracted to this solution. And they were like, well, how do we make this work with like Azure Key Vault? So I'm like, well, the spec's pretty clear, right? Like you basically have to roll your own class that basically is like a super type of this other Java class that you basically have to implement yourself. So you're responsible for like the authentication to the key management system and the cryptographic operations to get the key and any wrapping of keys. And like, you have to like write all that yourself. Now, most modern KMSs have really robust SDKs, so that's not a problem. But they're like, well, we don't know how to do that. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to write it for you. Like, I don't want my code ending up in production for you for all your encrypted data. Cause like, I'm not doing that. But it is an interesting exercise. So I was asking around internally and like, nobody apparently has done this. And like our competitors have examples of them using their KMSs. So I'm like, fuck it. I'll write it, So like I spent the better part of like 3 days getting my IDE set up correctly. And learning all the new build tools and like,
can't imagine.
And how to like set all the dependencies. And like, I'm a Maven expert now, apparently. Like, anyway, after I got that all set up, like I really dug into it and like, I have a semi workable solution right now. But that's to say like, this is really kind of important stuff. And one, I'm a little shocked that we don't have examples of using our products for this type of solution, even by way of as an example, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're at a company who wants to do this, like someone has to take on that technical debt and technical work to actually implement it. Mm-hmm. But once it's implemented, like it's pretty fucking slick and it's very fast because all the encryption and decryption is happening like with the Spark engine, right? Because this is all designed to run on Apache Spark. Mm-hmm. So it's very quick and it's very fast and it's very compelling. And, once I finish like writing it, it will be something we open source, I'm sure, to provide ways of an example. So I was just kind of proud of myself that one, I remembered how to actually write Java.
Oof, yeah.
And two, that I managed to like get it working on my M2 Mac or my M1 MacBook Pro. Because that's where I'm doing all this work. So like installing Java correctly and setting the correct Java path, like that was difficult.
Now, are you using Oracle's runtime or are you using the open source stuff?
I think I ended up that's a good point, right? Because I was trying to install like the OpenJDKs through Homebrew, but it wasn't setting my Java path. It wasn't like adding it to my path correctly. So every time I would type Java, it would like go to the default one that was installed as like with build tools from Apple,
which is probably like really old.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of very, very weird errors. So I basically downloaded like Oracle's client and I'm just using that. And then like Visual Studio Code has some really good build integrations with like Maven and stuff to where like I don't need to download Eclipse and get like super raw with it.
Eclipse. Yeah. Man, I remember that thing. Woo.
I still have to use that from time to time.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I was doing some work with like some IBM stuff in DB2 and like I've never written a DB2 query in my life or connected to a DB2 server, so they were like, "Yeah, just download this plugin for Eclipse," and I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
aren't there other clients like?
Yeah, you forgot the first step of me downloading Eclipse. Like,
Yeah, I ended up using dbeaver. Have you not heard of this?
No, no, no. That's so clever. dbeaver. All right.
Yeah,
I'm searching it right now.
it's a free universal database tool.
I've never heard
It's actually
of
pretty
this.
slick. It's actually pretty slick.
Oh.
If you work in an environment where you have to connect to multiple databases, it's actually not bad. Like, I hate the name, but it's actually a pretty good tool.
It's kind of ugly too, but I mean, what do
Well,
you expect?
Form over function, man.
Whew, for that a website too. It's like straight out of like early 2000s.
It's been around for a very long time. I mean, I had heard of it, but I've only ever really, well, aside from my first job, I've only ever worked in like homogeneous database environments.
Yeah.
But if you're the kind of person that has to connect to many different things, like, I mean, look at all the databases it supports.
Oh yeah, it's
Like,
tons.
Yeah. Yeah. They basically, I mean, sometimes you got to bring your own drivers for some of these things, but yeah. I mean, yeah, it's insane.
Back in the day when I worked on stuff against Oracle, I used Toad.
I remember Toad.
Yeah.
I wonder whatever happened to that. Is it still around?
Yeah, Quest bought them.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where software goes to die.
Mm-hmm. Quest has some good stuff. Just not all their stuff is good. You have to be careful.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just my job just takes me in very weird places sometimes.
Yeah, right. In Java.
I have to go super deep on like cryptographic operations and writing Java. Like that's. And I also am like in the process of publishing like some architecture center guidances. They're an editorial review, but I'll probably tweet them or talk about them at some point.
Post them on Mastodon. Toot them.
Yeah.
Toot them on Mastodon.
Do they still call it toot?
No.
They call it something else now, right?
They call it posts, but
yeah, but toot was so good.
Toot's it's better. It's better.
It is better. It is 100% better.
Yeah.
All right. The only other topic I have for tonight is all about sharing podcasts on here.
Okay.
The gym I go to, let me see if I can find it real quick. I should have had a link in here.
I think there's a subset of our listeners that just listen to us search for things on Google.
It's a weird kink, and I'm here for it. So
yeah.
So the gym I belong to is owned by a gentleman named Jeff Bannock, and he has a podcast.
Okay.
And Jeff's an interesting guy. He's into wellness stuff and fitness, but he's also been on a big stoicism kick. Anyway, the Friendship Podcast is a podcast that he puts together. Occasionally he has guests on there that are, really interesting to listen to. And as a member of the gym, I like to subscribe and support the things that he does. I actually got a call out on one of their latest podcasts because I've just been crushing it at the gym recently.
Oh, nice. Good for you.
Yeah. So one, it's a shameless plug for me because it made me feel pretty good, but it's actually a pretty good podcast. So if you're looking for something else to listen to, like, go listen to it. It's a pretty good podcast.
Cool.
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 Yeah. That's all I had. How's The Last of Us? Was the second episode good?
It was good. It was really good.
I'm hearing that it deviated from the show quite a bit, or from the game quite a bit.
I mean, yes and no. Like, it's still like, I mean, okay, yeah. Like in the there are a subset of the fans or like, just if you're never gonna make those people happy ever, unless you basically like played the game and like played it back to them. Like, just if you want that, just play the game again or
just
go
play
watch
the game,
it. Yeah.
right?
Or like, watch someone playing it on Twitch. Like they're hitting the same story beats and they're telling the same story. They're just optimizing it for television, right? Because you don't have a controller in your hand. Like you're not part of the action. Like, and like, yeah, they're changing up some little details and like, like a big part of like a big thing they changed, in the game, the fungal infection transmits by spores, which involves you having to put on gas masks in the game a lot. Well, turns out when you put a gas mask on an actor's face, they can't act as good and you can't hear them as well. Uh, so they're like, let's change that and make it change by like cordyceps. So like, you get these little tendril things, and I think it's a perfectly good change. Like it doesn't make the clickers less scary. It doesn't make the and yeah, like they changed the little bit of how the very thing end, but like the important thing in the story that happened, like people are just it's a really good show. It's a good show. Just I highly recommend just watch it. I've tried to get my family to watch it, but they're like uh but it's good. It's good. I highly recommend. It's good. It's really good. It's really good. I don't want to spoil anything because I want people just to experience it, and yeah.
I still want to play. I mean, I haven't played the game, and I can't tell if the show would be better or worse for that.
I don't think it matters. Like I think you could watch the show and then play the game. I mean, I think that's happening. Like if I saw something like the purchases for Last of Us Part 1 on PlayStation like went up something like ridiculous, like 400% after the first episode or something. Play the game, then watch the show, then play the game. I think either way you're gonna have a good time.
I was very tempted to get. I mean, after hearing you talk about it and reading some light recaps, I was very tempted to like create like a fake email account and like get an HBO trial again.
Yeah, you should do it.
Yeah. Oh, I guess more just filler, but I guess the new Ted Lasso is happening soon.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
So ready for that.
Yeah.
I also want another season of Severance. There's a lot of good stuff coming.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We've talked enough, buddy. Let's wrap this
I'm going to go to bed. I'm old. Hey, we're on the internet at doingtheirbest.com. Maybe we'll be on Mastodon by next week.
Maybe we will.
I got to find a server for the show to live on. Maybe I'll do that this weekend and see if I can figure out where to host the show.
Homework.
Send us an email. I don't know, talk to me directly. It's nice. It's nice hearing people say they listen to the show. I always appreciate that. So, keep it coming. Rate us on Apple, wherever you get your podcasts.
Rate us, cowards.
Give us all the stars.
One last final announcement. So, if you are in the greater Columbus area, I will be speaking at the Central Ohio SQL Server user group. I don't know what they call it now. I haven't spoken for that group in a long time. I will be talking about network connectivity to Azure to different data services and sort of what you have to think about.
Cool.
So if you subscribe to their mailing list, you'll probably be getting, or will have gotten by the time this comes out, the email with like the session details and everything. So I think they still have the meetings at where you work, Paul, which is going to be really weird.
I'm pretty sure that's true. Yeah,
that's going to be wild.
It's all good.
Yeah.
I have to figure out what day that is. Maybe you'll get a little fan club.
Love that.
All right, man. Awesome. Well, thanks for listening, everybody.